your visibility, and your credibility. This is why it is really important for you to think about collaborating with a distributor right from the beginning. We are really in a business to business. Can you hear me now? Is it okay? Okay. So as I was saying, the festival strategy could be very important as the distributor would submit your content to some festivals, African, European festivals, in order to get, some official selections and to eventually win prizes. So we are really in a business to business model, and you need to understand the expectation and constraints of our clients. Hence, our business model is becoming business to customers. As distributors, we understand and we have a pretty good idea of what is the audience is expecting, the audience from our clients. Whenever I talk to a TV stations, a VOD platform, I know what is the editorial line and I know what the audience is looking for. We are really at the front line, so we tend to know exactly what our clients are looking for, or even if the dream program does not exist. Some distributors could be involved nowadays in development, production, and commissioning. We are in constant connection with our clients, TV stations, VOD platforms, in flights. So we are becoming really a strategic partners for our clients because we are constantly in touch with talents, and we are also in touch with the expectations of the channels, the platforms, and the influence. So how would you choose your distributor? Some distributors are attached to TV channels, some are attached to producers, some are specialized in type of content. For instance, a distributor specialized in animated contents. Here, we wanted to create at Trace Content Distribution a platform for Afrocentric contents, from African contents, from contents from the diaspora. We've got contents, from Ghana, Nigeria, Brazil, France, the UK. Obviously, an African content or a content from the diaspora can be part of a mainstream catalog, but it might also be drowned, by the catalog. So this is why we wanted to create a platform with Afrocentric content that we would value to third parties. I also wanted to share about the future of distribution and how the market has evolved, actually. A growing number of distributors are involved in activities that look like, as I said early on, development, productions, commissionings. And the main reason is that we are very close to the market. So whenever you know that your client is looking for, a type of content, and that you have this close relationship with your talents, this is where you can actually, the demand can meet the needs, actually. And we can think about creating together a program, knowing, the expectation of the clients and knowing the talents, of your writer, producer, director. So, for instance, we are receiving a lot of ready-made contents, but we are also receiving a lot of projects, scripts, marketing decks. We have access to talent in Africa and outside Africa. And we now tend to pitch projects directly to channels and platforms. Obviously, we do not interfere with the creative vision. Our main objective is really to ensure that your programs could be watched internationally. That's the idea. I am quite sure that you already had, a good idea of what content distribution is, but I really hope this presentation helps you, understand and think about, the range of activities and partnerships you could get involved with together with a distributor. I now look forward to your questions, and we can be reached on tcd@trace.tv. I'm ready to answer questions if you have. Yes.
All right. Wow, that was very insightful. So if you have any questions, please send them through my way, and then I would send it out to Ms. Betty for her to answer our question. But I have a question personally that I would love to ask you. What are the key things, or let me just say the two key things a distributor looks for in a product before they can accept to distribute it?
Okay. I think it's really the acquisition strategy is very important for us. So what we want to do is to take the best premium contents. So what is a premium content? At the end of the day, we want a content which is, well executed, a strong storyline. We want, a good acting and a good cinematography as well. And we can also project, ourselves, as distributors, because obviously we know the expectations, of, our clients. We've got different range of clients, from premium clients to, other clients that, want to have on the platform or TV channels, some content. So, the requirements, are different, but mainly it has to be a program. It has to be something someone would be able to watch. So a strong storyline. We want to make sure that technicality is fine, as well. And, the basic, is there. So obviously, even though if a program is not, strong, but the storyline is strong, we will fight actually to make sure, the potential buyer understands, how impactful the story can be for, for the audience. So it really varies and depends, really.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now, a follow-up question. In the Ghanaian industry, our biggest problem is distribution, right? When we are budgeting, we talk about equipment, cast, crew, but we never ever mention distribution, right? So I just want to know how important is it? I know you've mentioned that, but I just want to know how important it is again for content creators, filmmakers, to include distribution in their budgets.
Mm-hmm. It is, I think, essential nowadays, and whenever you have a project, you will need to probably, get on board right from the beginning a distributor. So because the distributor will help you, you know, on various occasions. First of all, on your production budget, you know, the distributor can be involved in putting a minimum guarantee. So it's good financially. Okay. It's good for your credibility if you want to submit, you know, your project to any, you know, potential partner. I would say, let's say an NGO would like, you know, to support you financially, but the NGO will ask you, do you have a distribution company working for you? You know, it's important because this, you know, third, this partner will know that whenever she will put some money on the project, you know, it's going to travel because there is a international sales, partner, a distributor working on that and making sure you can have, you know, some pre-sales deal as well. So, and your marketing at the end of the day, when, before it's ready-made or when it's ready-made, we will digitally push your content. And even though it's, you know, bought by a third party, it goes on the TV channels, we are still communicating that, you know, the content has been sold to the channel. So it's a success for the channel. And so we keep, you know, the good relationships with yourself, you know, as a producer and the buyer.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And now someone is asking if they can get your contact details as a distributor. Not
Absolutely.
yes.
So our contact details, it's really easy. It's tcd@trace.tv. I can send a message as well. Yes.
All right.
tcd@trace.
Okay. tcd at. Oh, okay. So those asking for the contact, this is the email: tcd, T for 10, C for cats, and then D for dog. tcd@tracetv.tv, right?
At trace.tv, yes.
At trace.tv. So you can send her an email, or you can send them an email if you have your content to distribute. I got a question from someone from Zimbabwe. Says, my question is, I am from Zimbabwe and we have faced some challenges in finding distribution companies that use Southern African content to say, what is
I didn't hear the end of the question, but I guess I can read it. It's okay. So indeed, I mean, Trace content distribution is really specialized in Afrocentric content. So most of our clients, although we are getting a lot of mainstream clients, are Pan-African channels, OTT platforms, you know, mainly launching in Africa. And so we are, I would say, specialized. We are specialized in, selling contents to Africa and for Africans. Although we want also to make sure African content, you know, goes actually outside, you know, also Africa. We want to make sure it's premium enough to touch, you know, international audience as well. That's our goal.
All right, that's beautiful. So the person from Zimbabwe, I hope you got your answer to that. And what another personal question I would like to ask is, what kind of content is encouraged? Because I've seen that mostly it's either TV or feature. Barely do we have distributors picking up short films. So I want to know if it is encouraged to distribute short films.
Your question was if the type of contents, feature films are better than series, or what, the other way around? Is that right? Oh.
No, the question I'm asking is that what kind of content is suitable for distribution? Because most of the time what I see is either feature films or TV or like TV series. but barely do we see short films being distributed. And I just want to know if it is encouraged or is short film just meant for students?
No, I think short films are, I mean, for me, they are difficult to distribute, obviously, because most of the time, indeed, as you said, it's a world about, I would say, documentaries, feature films, TV series, and it's quite difficult for TV channels just to put, in the middle of the programming, a short film of 5 minutes. The idea is really to engage with the audience and to make sure the audience will go back to, the same time if it's a series. But having said that, short films are important for the career of a director, So when it comes to short films, what could be interesting to do as a distributor is to actually get many short films to create like a collection of short films on the same subject matter, more or less. So in that case, you'll get a series, including 6, 7, 8, short films. But having said that, it's not that easy to market, but it is important for the career of, a filmmaker. I perfectly understand. But most of the time, buyers are asking for documentaries, TV series, animated contents, as well as feature films. Yes.
Wow. All right. Thank you. Now, this is from our founder herself, Ms. Juliet Asante. She's asking, what size of funding are platforms willing to put behind projects these days? What are you seeing averagely?
It's a very good question. I know that, funding is really something that, everybody's, looking into. And depending, on the quality of the projects, depending on the type of partners you have, on the table as well. I think as long as, your project is strong with different partners, distributor, scriptwriter, you will get, the required funding. As I said now, today, funding, can be, you can get, pre-sales deal from, channels, platforms, but you can submit, your projects to government, international government entities. You also can go to NGOs as well. And I'm insisting on that because NGOs are very strong in, as long as you are, talking about specific, subject matters in a certain way, obviously. And the good thing is that most of them, they are not, involved in, your creative vision. They will be able to put, money on the table as well. But to be honest with you, as a distributor ourselves, at the beginning we weren't putting MG, but now we see how important it is. So we are putting in even a small MG, and we are also giving, some letter of intent, which will help, potential projects, to get much more funding. So we want to help but as far as the question of the founder, Juliet, is concerned, it really depends, the quality of the project and the number of partners that you have to support you right at the beginning. Yes.
All right. So someone is asking about animation. He says, I'm from Virgin Islands, sorry. I am an animator and interested in animated content, that is short films and series for distribution in the future. What type of content in terms of animation is encouraged?
Any type of animated content is, I mean, a lot of my clients are looking for animated contents, especially Afrocentric. So it could be animated contents for the English-speaking worlds, the French-speaking worlds, the Portuguese-speaking as well. So this is the right time, for animations. We are getting more and more, and could be series is I would say it's much better, because if it's a feature length form, that means you need theatrical distribution, etc. But I would encourage actually to go into series. Now, I would encourage you also to know your target audience. Are you targeting 4 to 8 years old? Are you targeting, older? I mean, it's and I would also encourage you, to to talk about, I know African stories. This is what a lot of, broadcasters, and platforms are currently looking for. Yes.
All right. So this is from someone. This is from Jay, and Jay is asking, will we see growth in IP-related cases when it comes to content distribution in Africa? We have a lot of TV and online platforms using people's videos and images for free, and sometimes even monetize them.
Oh, so whenever you get on board as a distributor, a content distributor, you are there to protect the IP at the end of the day. So obviously, it's part of our job, to protect your IP, to make sure we monetize it, and to react whenever others are trying to monetize it. So we react very, very quickly. We've got a legal team. So this is why probably by yourself, it's not that easy actually to confront and to make sure that I don't know, for instance, such and such platforms understand that you're the right holders, but we do it. So this is why when I say we, any distributors actually is doing it. It's really, if we want to monetize the content, we have to protect it in a way. We have to make sure it's protected. We have to make sure, if it's on a platform, we would write, to the platform, and then they will unpublish, the content very quickly. It's a question of 24 hours, and then it's done. So this is why you can definitely, it's important for you to partnership with a distributor, because this is what we do. And what we want, it's really you to focus on your next, production, while we will be dealing with, legal issues, rights issues, marketing, traveling with your content, on international markets, contacting potential buyers, fighting for your content, and protecting it.
Oh, thank you very much for that. And Miss Juliet Asante followed up with another question. She said the part about talking about African stories, I'd like to bring you back a bit. Are you saying the preference for African stories is rising in definition? What are the specific kinds of stories? What kinds of specific stories are gaining more interest? I
think local stories, really well executed, well thought through, well taught, with a universal, aspect within the story, will definitely work, So let's talk about, any story in Ghana, for instance. We can talk about, family. We have to make sure it's local, but with an international reach out, So this is why it has to be African, If you want to talk about an African story, just do it. As long as in your story, you will actually bring some international aspects. So it touches, obviously, your, community, but it will also touch, others. So that's really the, what, premium, platforms are doing, not to mention, some African stories, I don't want to mention, platforms, but there is, one stories which they're very well, on the platforms in Africa and did well outside Africa. So that means they perfectly understood, how to write the story, how to make sure it is local, it is true, the story, the story is true to itself, but also with some international ingredients, love, family, anything that, human beings, can refer to.
Yeah, that's interesting because personally, I used to think that mostly stories from Africa has to have some elements of probably war, disease, or I don't know, some kind of negativity before these international distributors will pick it up. So that is what I used to think. And thank you very much for clarifying it. And if there's something you can say about that too, the floor is open.
Okay, I think nowadays we need to portray our lives, and obviously, not everybody is living, in a war period, but we have to respect, everyone's, life. But we do have, issues that a lot of people can rely to, and if you want to do business in the audiovisual, industry, let's talk about your, love stories, your relationship with your mom, or it's. And if you want to add up some, subtle information behind, this, international story, why not? But let's try to, to bring, positivity to our stories, if possible.
All right, thank you very much. And I would like to ask another question. How many distributors can be on a project? Can you have multiple distributors, or it has to be one distributor at a time?
No, you can have multiple. You can have, this is what we call co-distribution. For instance, let's say you have one distributor that will be pitching your project to, let's say, I don't know, French-speaking channels, for instance, Pan-African French, okay. And then you've got another one in charge of English, for instance. So that is absolutely possible. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Even though it's, depending on, the expertise of one another, but it is possible to share the distribution, right from the beginning. So this distributor will be very good in doing, digital marketing, finding English-speaking partners for this international project. This one will actually, be on board, whenever the project is ready-made, and will focus on such and such territories. There's always, ways to work with multiple distributors, on different ways.
Thank you very much for that. And for how long can you work with a distributor? Can you like the contract you sign with the distributor, does it have to be very long, or what's the advisable period to sign with a distributor?
It's depending. If it's for a project, it's probably better to sign for 5 years. If it's for a ready-made program, between 2 to 3 years, you just have to give the time to the producer to understand your content, to make sure it targets the right potential buyers. It's changing a lot. Obviously, as a distributor, we know the editorial line, we know the expectation of the of the buyers, but it's changing all the time because of the competition, and the rise of VOD platforms. Sometimes the TV channels, they could change. So this is why whenever they say no, you just go back to them in 3 months, and they might actually change their viewpoints. So that can take a bit of a time, sometimes. So I would say 2 to 3 years for ready-made contents, and about 5 years for a project. So that doesn't mean it will take 5 years, but you build up your relationship with the distributor. So that's the idea.
All right. So those of you who are just joining us, our speaker for today is Bertie Sulty-Johnson, a distributor who is educating us about distribution. You're welcome. Right, we have a question coming in. So someone is asking, what are the major challenges filmmakers should watch out with distribution companies?
You mean whenever they are signing, what they should be aware of? Is that right? The distribution period is important, you know, between 2 to 5 years. Try not to sign for more. The contract and the agreement you are signing with the distributor, you definitely have to make sure to read it, or to have a legal person to help you out as well, just to make sure everything is fine. There's always, you know, room for negotiation. You know, if you know yourself, you've got very good, you know, contacts with you know, TV stations in Ghana, so you can make sure that you can be in charge of, you know, prospecting and sell, you know, your contents to these territories, this country, and for the rest, the distributor can be in charge of. I think it's really a question of, you know, asking questions and making sure there is this trust in the relationship, as well. Percentage as well, between, as I said, it's between 25 to 35. Exclusivity is something, you know, so what does it mean, you know, to sign an exclusive distribution agreement? That means the distributor will be the only one to look after your contents. You can have, you know, as you said and you mentioned, you can have two, for instance, distributors with two exclusivity, but they will actually work on different type of rights and different territories. So at least you've got two people working on different territories, different languages, type of rights. So at least you know, you have a chance to see how they perform as well. But it's really a question of, you know, reading your agreement, you know, properly with the distributor, and to ask you the question if you don't understand.
Thank you very much for that. That was a very insightful answer. You can still send in your questions so that Ms. Betty will help us answer them. And you are on the very first masterclass of the Blaster International Film Festival 2020 edition, which is also the virtual edition for very obvious reason. One second. Okay, so right now there's no question up right now. Oh, someone sent in. Okay, someone is asking, should you get an advance payment when dealing with an exclusive distributor?
That can be part of a negotiation to get, you know, the MG, minimum guarantee. So this is upfront money that the distributor will pay the producer, and this money, the distributor will recoup the money while, you know, doing sales. That can be a point of negotiations. I know that most of the distributors, because it's also it's a business for distributors which is a bit tricky, because we only live on 30%. You know, whenever there is a deal, we provide to the producers 70%, and we live on 30%. So depending, you know, on the finance of the distributor. So if you don't get, you know, the upfront payment, the MG from the distributor, that doesn't mean it's a bad distributor, you know. So, but what you can require is just to make sure that, you know, during the first, you know, 6 months of right after the signature of the agreement, you at least need to get 1 or 2 deals. You know, that could be something that will motivate, you know, one another, and see, you know, how things are are going as well, as far as the sales of the content is concerned.
Okay, thank you. And now I would like to ask you, in terms of legalities, are distributors some way the owner of the product?
No, never. No, not at all. We don't own, no. The rights holder is the producer. We are just in charge of helping the producer to monetize the program. We don't know. But while we have, let's say, a 2-year agreement with the producer, on the agreement, it will be written that you cannot actually make sales unless you have actually, talked about it, before you signed, while we were negotiating. But we don't own at all the IP. It's not ours. We are just representing. We are just, the person in charge of selling. Okay, and we want to make it, the best way possible. Because if you start making deals, we want to avoid, deal breakers, and but we are always, open-minded for, communications. Let's say you have, you met someone and we don't have this person or this potential partners in our pipeline. Obviously, we can amend the agreement saying that, okay, you can be in charge of it, but please don't give the exclusivity, because we will be in charge of, keep on, doing sales with your content, but we don't own at all the IP. Not at all.
Yeah, thank you very much. But is there ever a situation where they, like, as you talk about partnership, because I've seen some movies, a movie like Wedding Party, the Nigerian movie, it was a collaboration between a particular film house and then another distribution company, Film One Distribution. So I am just asking, with that one, is it that do they own a part of the licenses?
Yes, that is possible, because you can be a distributor and you can also be involved in the co-production. So in that case, yes, you will own, a part of the content. But let's say when it's ready-made contents, let's say the finished contents, you want, a distributor to sell your TV rights, your VOD rights. We will never be involved in any ownership of the contents. But if it's something, which was a project and you want the distributor on board, as distributor, and suddenly the distributor say, okay, I'm going to put some money, to be your co-producer. So yes, that's something different.
All right, thank you very much for that. And someone is asking, what is the fairest deal with a distributor when you have been able to value your work to meet international selling attraction?
Are you talking in terms of money when you say fairest deal with?
Yeah, I think it should be in terms of money.
It really depends on the, it's the budget of potential buyers. Whenever you deal with premium platforms or TV, obviously, you are getting much.
Okay, he said percentage check. That is the percentage wise.
Okay, percentage between the producer and the distributor. So it's between 25 to 35% for the distributor. So that's the idea. Am I answering the question? So?
Yeah. Yes, you have. Thank you very much. And you are still live at the Blackstar International Film Festival 2020 edition. And time is almost up. Wow. We have 5 more minutes left. Is there anything you would like to tell us for your final words right now?
Just wanted to say that please, do not be afraid actually to approach, distributors. They are everywhere. I know there are not a lot in Africa, but I mean, if you want to reach out, international distributors in America, in Europe, please feel free to do so, because you will learn to partnership, with distributors, and you might have, good surprises, because they would see in your content something you haven't seen, and they would be able to pitch it in a way that you never pitched it yourself, and attract potential buyers for yourself. So feel free to explore different, avenues to contact international distributors, and to create, the best, partnerships, as possible. Yes.
Thank you very much, Ms. Betty Sulty-Johnson of Trace Content Distribution. It was very educative having you. Thank you very, very much for all the insightful information. We at Black Star International Film Festival do honor your presence. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me, and do not hesitate actually to contact me if you have
Do not hesitate to contact her at TCD
at
TCD at trace.tv. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for the invitation. And I wish, all the best. I'm really grateful that, the Black Star International Festival is really on this year. And thank you very much for its founder, Mrs. Juliette Asante, for inviting me and to create this platform. It's very important to encourage, one another, and because we've got so many, stories to tell. So please feel free to contact me.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Please, our next session is starting very, very soon. You know the link. It has been sent out, so look out for it and then join us. This is Black Star International Film Festival, the virtual edition. Thank you very much for joining this session. My name is Majid Sohini, and I'm out.
Hey, good morning, guys. Robert Peters here. My day begins with a hot cup of green tea with lemon. Then I go for a 2-mile walk, and my house sits on an acre, so my work is fully cut out for me. I have been doing some reseeding and some aeration of my lawn. And in between that, I'm developing 2 scripts. One is supposed to be shot by the end of this year, and one early next year. So I have been working with 2 of my writers and reading script in between, reading some books in between, watching movies in between, and